Cool. So tell us who you are and where you are, why we're doing it like this,
Yeah.
and tell us a little bit about what your life looks like today.
Okay, so my name's Kyle Rerekura, born and bred, no Te Ati Haunui a Paparangi, Wanganui. Ko roa pehu te maunga, Wanganui te awa, Aotea te waka, and ko Parikino te marae. Yeah, so I'm in Australia at the moment, in New South Wales. I've been here for nearly 4 years. It was one of those sort of trips that I moved to Australia to be with the one, like the one, but yeah, turned out not to be the one. So we kind of split up or last July.
Yeah.
So I've just been doing it solo for a little while. Yeah, just
Everything all good?
Well, at the moment for me, life is a bit rough. I'm in the process at the moment of saving up and heading back to New Zealand. I've had enough of this place, to be honest. If I'm being perfectly honest, it's just that things sort of haven't gone my way since I moved here. And it's kind of wanting me to come back home. I've lost a couple of uncles in the last, I don't know, 6 months, and God forbid anything happens to my mother while I'm over here and I can't get back. That's probably one of the scariest things ever. So yeah, it's a process for me at the moment to save up and head back to New Zealand and come back home and be with the whānau.
Yeah, for sure. And what is the motivation behind you wanting to share your story on CWK today?
Yeah, right. So well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for reaching out and asking me to share. It was never supposed to be like this. It was more of a reach out, or is anyone else out there going through the same thing that I've been through?
Well, I actually was having a jack on TikTok one night, and I seen one of your TikToks where you were very vulnerable on there about what you had been through. And I said to my mate here, oh nah, we gotta get a hold of this fella and see if he's down to share a little bit more about what you had shared on your TikTok there.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a few years ago. I mean, like the relationship started about a decade ago, but it only ended about 5 or 6 years ago. So, I mean, the trauma from that was pretty horrific. I closed myself off from the world for a little while. It just became really angry, bitter person, and I don't know how to deal with that. Like I've met mates and I've had friends that have been through domestic violence, and it's easy for someone on the outside that hasn't experienced it to sit there and say to them, bro, just leave. But when you're stuck in that situation for 6 years yourself and you actually experience it, it's not that easy. It's not as easy as people think it is. Especially when, like for me, I thought I was like for the first 3 years when it started. So just a bit of context. So I'm jumping the gun here. Yeah, jumping the gun a wee bit. So that video on TikTok took 2 videos before that to get me to that point, and it sort of started off as a sort of like there was one video of, and this just triggered me, of a dude sitting on his in a chair, and this girl just come up to him, bang bang, smacking him in the head around all these other people 3 times, and then immediately after that was a video of another woman, and she was talking about how does it make you feel when your significant other belittles you. And that sort of triggered off a chain of emotions for me. And so I started off with a 1-minute video, and I was, God damn it, I need to explain a bit more. And then on the third one, like obviously I'm in tears, and just putting myself back in that place in that time. Even though it was a long time ago, it still hurts to talk about it. Even now, I'm just I kind of don't want to revisit.
Yeah.
So from that video, it ended up me admitting to putting my hands on my partner at the time, and that doesn't matter how I try and explain what had happened and how it happened and how it came about. Me hitting her, it's always going to sound like I'm trying to justify my actions towards her. But what I will say is that I put up with the abuse for a few years before I even retaliated and defended myself, and it just changes you, as a person. Like I'm not the I've got trust issues. I've got I get triggered at like people raising their voice. Always walking on eggshells, constantly. It doesn't matter if I've done nothing wrong. I'm just constantly walking on eggshells around anybody. Doesn't matter. It changed me as a person because, like, I wasn't that person beforehand, and yeah, it's.
You were the victim of domestic violence.
I don't like to play that card, because even though I might have been like, there was the thing for me putting my hands on her and hitting her that time, it opened her up to me, because she actually started telling me, like why she is the way she is and what happened to her, and as she's telling me, she's saying like he was possessive, he was, violent, he was an animal, like he dragged her out of her friend's house by her hair, almost curb stomped her, punched out her teeth. And as she's telling me this, I'm sitting there thinking, like, can you see something like developing, like something starting to gel here? Because essentially I became her and she became her ex. And I was thinking to myself, fuck, that's out of it, man. So she's kind of, the role's been flipped. Like, I've never experienced domestic violence in a relationship that bad. Like, I've been slapped and I've been, hit, punched in the back or whatever, but to the point of being like punched consecutively while you're driving the car, over being kicked out of a pub because you're too intoxicated, was just like I didn't. What do I do? Do I just jump out of the car on the bloody highway? Or like, what do I do? But as soon as I retaliated, it stopped. And yeah, I could have got into a lot of trouble that night. Could have got into a hell of a lot of trouble. We went to the ER. I took her to the emergency doctors, and obviously they would have took one look at her and looked at me and gone, "Yep, domestic violence." So before we went in, I said to her, "Look, just tell them what happened. Tell them that I hit you." And she said, "No, I'll tell them I fell at the pub." So she defended me for that, and to this day, I still don't know why. Because I was prepared to face the consequences for my actions. For what she did to me in the car, there was literally nothing on my face, but she had a split eyelid, and yeah, I was just I felt like a monster. I felt like the worst person in the world. Yeah.
And what was the like the moment that you fellas decided, what, fuck this?
It was quite easy. The ending was quite easy because we lived long distance, so I'll travel up to Auckland every other weekend because I was working in Wanganui at the time as an announcer. So I'll travel up to Auckland every Friday and spend the weekend with her, and then come back. And then 1 week back in, I think, 2016 or 17, she sent me a text while I was at work and said, "Oh, I hooked up with someone," and that was it. That was my out. And yeah, so that's how easy it was for me to get out of there. So yeah, that was the out for me, because I tried to leave previously, multiple times, and the threat of suicide from someone when you're going to leave, like, I've never experienced that either. I was just kind of like, if you leave me, I'm going to kill myself. She tried twice.
It's a hard out thing though, eh? Like, I've heard that from heaps of people. Psychological manipulation.
Yeah, it's really intense. I was the first time it happened, I was on my way to Tauranga, and she was going to kill herself because I was going to Tauranga for my birthday. I invited her to come, like, it's that narcissism behavior, like, the narcissistic behavior, like, it's sort of like to do whatever you want, then you do whatever you want and still get into trouble,
Yeah. Hey, so from that experience that you went through with that, did that have any effects with future relationships that you had after that, or?
Absolutely, yeah. I don't think it did initially, because, maybe it did, because I moved over here to Australia for, to be with someone that I met on Facebook, and that never really worked out. So, and I guess, yeah, there were still some red flags there as well, but you just didn't listen to the red flags. The the heart leads you in one direction and the mind's telling you to do something else.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've learned a lot of lessons the hard way. And I'll probably still learn a lot more lessons the hard way too.
Oh, bro, we got fucking lessons on lessons to learn. Shit. The journey, the story hasn't been written just yet.
It's definitely been an eye opener, and like if I hadn't sought the help that I needed, because I became, I mean, from all the trauma and the abuse and all that stemmed from that relationship, just that one relationship, shut me off from the world. It shut me off from everyone. Like I didn't want to talk to anyone because I felt embarrassed about it. You know, like I even one time when it happened and cops turned up at our house and I was like, I want them to take me away. I've done nothing wrong. I've been assaulted, but I'm going to hurt her if you don't take me. She gets arrested. I'm like, what? I was just take me away. Just get me out of here. But yeah, she got arrested, and I've had cops laugh at me because I've been assaulted. Like it makes you want to just, you know, crawl up into a little pile of dirt and just not come out. So I find it to confide in people now. So I guess if I am going to like talk to someone like you're someone, you know, you've been there, done that. So when you reached out, I was more than happy to jump on and have a cordial with you and share my experience. I know people might be thinking that, oh, I don't really care what people think anyway, but
all day.
I'm probably not being painted in the best light at the moment, but
no, you're okay. All right. You know, it doesn't matter if you're male or female. The way that I look at it is, well, I'll talk about me and my situation. Is you take it and you take it and you take it, and then you get to a stage where you're like, you know what? I don't give a fuck if I get knocked out. Fuck, I'm not going down without a fight. And that's how a lot of people start fucking fighting back, you know.
Yeah.
But it's cool that you guys, you know, that you took off this way, and she, you know, has obviously taken off that way, you know, and it hasn't continued. That's me. So
and the cool thing is that, like, even though we're not together anymore, we talk more now than we did when we were together. Yeah. So we're like way better as friends, and that's cool. Yeah. I guess we both put each other through some shit. I'm sure there are people out there that have been through, you know, if the same, if not worse.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know if I've got any advice, man. Like, fuck, hate the red flags if you see them, man. Like, just take notice and ask questions, or like just communicate, I guess, is the main thing when it comes to relationships, and that's what we didn't have, and that's what we didn't have when I moved to Australia either, was that communication side. You know, you meet people that would rather just communicate through text, even if they're in the same house, you know.
Yeah,
it's just, I don't like that. That really gets under my skin. So yeah, I guess communication is the key when it comes to, you know, that sort of stuff.
Hard out. Rick, is there anything else you want to share with us, Kyle?
Yeah, I don't know. Just thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. I don't know if you have any more questions for yourself, but yeah, I've got no questions.
No, cool, Kyle. I just want to thank you so much for coming on here.